Greetings. Today it's going to be a minor rant. Gotta do it. So, a couple of weeks ago, maybe a few weeks ago, I really don't remember. I did a video where I talked about the car accident that I had and how I was able to, get my mother and myself out of trouble, and how there were so many nice people I met on that day, and how Allstate came around and did a really wonderful job, and how Enterprise did a great job, and how everyone else everything fell into place that day, and everything went well. And I talked about that. Well, it's just over a month later, and things haven't always gone as well. Got to talk about it because it's the reality, and this is just stuff. So let's talk about the insurance company first. Since that day, and I got a lot of phone calls on that day, and I got a couple on Saturday after the accident, and that was just wonderful. I'm like, wow, I'm going to get a lot of love from these people. After that, I have gotten one phone call, and that's because I called first. Actually, I guess I can say two, because one time I wasn't here after I had called and had to leave a message. And the second time I was here when the guy called. So all this time, nothing. And that's irksome, because there's been a lot of things that have gone on that had I not started asking questions or kind of initiated something, not only would I not know stuff, but Allstate wouldn't have done stuff. For instance, after so many days, I hadn't heard anything, so I called the collision place. And the guy says, yep, we finished our estimate, and we're going to be sending the estimate to Allstate. It's for $13,000 to fix your car. Like, whoa, $13,000? No way they're going to approve that. Anyway, he tells me that. So the next day, I go out to try to find another car, because I just knew they're not going to fix this car, and they're going to give me money. I'm going to have to get another car. So I do that. I find the car. I put down a deposit. I'm good with this. Never heard anything from Allstate. So that Friday, I go to my local place. And I say, they're not communicating with me. I haven't heard anything. I thought that, once they got the estimate, everything was going to be good. She said, well, they should have called. Let me call. So she calls when, I'm there in the office. And I can't hear his side, but I hear her side. So I know what he's telling her. And basically he's telling her that he has not seen the estimate. To which she says, well, the collision company has sent the estimate. You know what the amount is, even though you haven't seen the estimate, because obviously he had said something about $13,000. He just said he hadn't seen it. So he told her he would contact someone and get back. Okay. So later on that day, I hear from her, and she says they're actually looking to fix the car, which was really out, didn't understand. It's like, what? They're going to fix this car for $13,000? I'll come back to that piece in a little bit. So anyhow, the lady in the office called. I'm not counting her as the Allstate calling, because, she's there in the office. She has nothing really to do with anything else, except that's where I go to pay for my car insurance. So I never heard from Allstate that they were going to actually pay for the car except through her. Now, when I first was contacted by someone from Allstate the day of the accident, and she mentioned that they would cover the car, this woman said this, and I'm sure she said this because I asked, are you really serious about this? Are you telling me this? She said that they would cover the rental car, the cost of the rental car for 30 days, but they would not cover the insurance on the car. Which I said, really? Really? Are you sure? Now, my thinking was, okay, they're paying for the car. They want to make sure I don't damage that. They're paying for this other stuff. Okay, so I go to Enterprise, and I tell them the insurance company's telling me they're not paying for the insurance, so I need to buy insurance. They don't question it. Why would they? They're going to get this extra money. So because I upgraded the car, because they wanted to give me a compact, and I'm not a compact kind of guy, I have $6 a day, but insurance is $20 a day. So this is done the first day. Now we've gone some days, and I have gone to Allstate, and I've asked about this thing. So the lady in the office tells me, what do you mean they told you that we don't cover insurance? Of course we cover the insurance on the rental. It's our responsibility until you're back in your own vehicle. She She says, go back to Enterprise and ask them if they can waive that other thing that you had since you didn't do anything. Yes, we're covering it. So I go to Enterprise. It was right up the street. And I said, I found out that my insurance company is actually paying for the insurance, so I need to cancel this. And I need to know if you can wipe out those extra days that I had before, because it turns out they've been covering it the entire time. So this woman, I said that specifically. She gives me this paper to fill out. I look at it. I see it's canceled. I'm thinking, okay, everything is totally canceled. I sign it. Good to go. Now we're waiting and we're waiting. And I'm not hearing anything from Allstate. I'm hearing from the collision guy because I actually stopped there. I take my mother to the senior center. And so I stopped there. And he said the first time, well, they've asked us to test the suspension system and the alignment to see if everything works out fine. Okay, sure. Let's do that. So then I go back and he says they've approved it. Everything is going good. We have to order all the parts because you have a specialty car. It's limited. And so we have to order parts because no one keeps those parts. It's also, it's a car from 2014. So they've got to do something with these parts. I still have not heard anything from Allstate. Just nothing. But okay, they're going to do what they're going to do. Now, one of the things I did do is I came back home after I figured out they were going to actually fix it. And I'm trying to figure out, why are they fixing this car? Because when I did the first lookup, it said the Blue Book estimate of what my car was worth was around $14,200. These guys have said $13,000. I'm like, no, come on. That's too close. They're just going to give me some money. Turns out that my car was a limited edition. Now, in car parlance, limited means something different than limited means in everything else. If you've got a full bottle of Coke, but there's only so much in there, you're limited to drinking just that little bit, because that's all that's left. It's limited. In car parlance, limited means they made fewer of these cars, but they souped them up more. So they have way more stuff, whole lot of fancy things. So that's what limited means. Limited is good in car language. I did not know that. So it turned out I have a limited car. And the value on my car was $18,500. So they got something for $13,000. They can save $5,000 just to fix it. So that's the reason that they're fixing my car. Because it was worth more than what I had thought it was, because I didn't know. I had no clue what limited and all these other things meant. So we go to last week. I get a call from Enterprise. Enterprise says, well, your rental is going to be done on the 9th. I said, but they're still fixing my car. What do I do about that? Guy says, geez, I'm not really sure. You might have to call your insurance company. So I call the rep. And I said, hey, y'all are still fixing my car or having my car fixed. What am I supposed to do for a rental? It ends Saturday. He says, well, Mr. Mitchell, I'm not sure that there's anything we can do. We only cover things for 30 days. I said, yeah, but the problem is you guys waited for 2 weeks before you decided to tell this company to fix my car. So technically, this is not my fault. It's not their fault. You guys delayed it. So I'm thinking I at least deserve another couple of weeks for a rental on my car. And he says, well, that sounds logical. Let me check on it. Okay, yeah, you do that. So we go a few more days. It's Thursday. Thursday, mind you, when the guy finally calls me back. He says, well, I spoke to some people, and they said that because you had that limited version of your car, parts had to be ordered. That's not our responsibility. So everything is right. I'm sorry, your car ends on the 9th. So my car ends on the 9th. This is the 7th. So I decide I'm taking my car back, and I'm going to turn it back in. Still, I call the collision guy, and I said, Ed, by the way, the guy's name is Ed Norton. Anyone who's a Honeymooners fan is going to find that funny. So I call Ed. I said, Ed, they're telling me that I'm losing my car. I'm not going to pay $30-something a day. That's just way too much. You guys may have it for 2 more weeks. He says, I think we've got something for you. Go ahead and turn your car back in. So it's the Friday, last Friday, I go back to Enterprise. And I said, okay, I've got to turn my car in. Here you go. And the woman says something that my mind, it didn't hear it. It heard it, but it didn't hear it. I said, could you say that price again? It says $378. I said, okay, how is it $378 when I'm only paying $6 a day? And she said, well, you had those 10 days where you were paying for insurance. I said, but they wiped that out. I came in and I asked specifically if they could wipe that out. And I signed the paper. She says, well, no, it doesn't work that way. If you put in for it, it has to stay there. I was so irritated, I turned around. I wouldn't look at anyone in the face. I'm looking out the window. I said, okay, what do we do? Well, we can put it on the card. You put it on the card. I just want to leave. She said, okay, then we'll put it on the card. And I walked out. I signed nothing. I didn't get a receipt for it, by the way, so I've got nothing either, but I didn't care. I didn't want to be in there anymore. I was irked. I was just really irked because I thought they had wiped it out. I get home and look at the paperwork, and really, they did cancel it on that day, but they didn't go back. And I thought that they did on this paper. I had the initial 4 places and sign. That's kind of on me, because I usually read stuff, but after I had mentioned what I wanted to do, I just made the assumption that they were going to do that. They heard exactly what I said I wanted to do. Didn't do it. So Enterprise, I ain't necessarily so happy with y'all. I'll accept some of the responsibility, but I'm not a happy man. Allstate, I'm not happy because I've had to initiate everything. No one has said a thing to me, except when I have called and asked questions. I'm the one who's gone to the collision place. Even Ed at one point didn't know that they were actually going to totally fix my vehicle. Now, here's the other sides of things, because that's my rant. Mad at Allstate a little bit, mad at Enterprise a little bit. So my wife and I go to lunch, and I'm still a little hypersensitive about stuff, because I got mad at something that happened at Olive Garden too, and I had to basically call out a manager on it. But I'm not going to talk about that one right now. So I'm there with my wife, and I start doing the calculations. I said, you know what? Truth of the matter is, had I had Allstate accept that they were going to pay more for my car, I would have ended up with a bill that was over $500 because I didn't know that they were still charging me for that $200. So getting out at $378 was actually saving me some money. I didn't know that I was going to be saving that much money, but it ended up saving me money. So in that respect, thank you. I don't know. Then I go to the collision place. By the way, it's called Nino's Collision in Baldwinsville, New York. You guys have been wonderful. Perfect. I even got to see parts of my car that you're rebuilding. It looks great. These guys, phenomenal. They get an endorsement. But I go there, and so they give me a loaner. I don't have to pay anything for it. It's a 2008 Suzuki Forenza. And after you've had basically souped up cars for pretty much 13 or 14 years, going back to this kind of car is a little shocking. It's a 4-cylinder, 12-gallon gas tank. It's got nothing spectacular in it. It's got the heat. It's got the AM, FM radio. It's got a not a cassette player, my God. It's got a DVD player, which I'm not using. No Bluetooth. I can't figure out how the lights work, but that's okay. And so I've got this car. It's free for 2 weeks. There it is. So in retrospect, I'm saving money on one level. I'm having my car built on another. Allstate has not given me any more love. I don't know if I'm really in good hands or not, because one would have thought someone would have been saying something, or at least I'd have got some letters or something. Nothing, 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 nothing. I've been in business since 2001. Self-employed. I'm incorporated. There's certain business principles that you do. You follow up with people on things that you start. And I just don't feel the love. Now, maybe this is how they do things normally, but if it is, it stinks. Nah, y'all let me know. Am I expecting too much from businesses as far as communication goes? Maybe I'm just better at it than they are. I don't know. But this is my little rant. Let me know your thoughts. My name is Mitch Mitchell. This is my rant for this week. We'll see if I'm in a better mood next week. Y'all take care.